Hi, this is Denise Mathew, and today I'm going to make these little, they're almost like a little, I think they look like a little crown, a crown style ring. Now, it's actually a knuckle ring, but if you prefer, you could do it as a toe ring or just a standard ring. Now, I've made two here. One I've used a marquise cut, which is just a different briolette. It just has to be a top drilled bead. This one is a 7 by 5, and I've also used an 8 by 8. 8mm by 8mm briolette. I will be doing a marquise cut, but the technique I'm showing you is suitable for both styles. So now this one I've made where it's open, so if you're wearing it on your finger, it's you can just bring it right down to your knuckle like that, or if you wanted to squeeze it closed, you could wear it a little bit higher up. The other one I've overlapped in the back. One has 5 inches of wire, and this one has 4 inches of wire. So that's the difference. So you can decide which one you would prefer to do. So let's get started. So the first thing you're going to do is I've cut a piece of wire. This is about a 16 gauge wire. You can use from a 16 to a 20. I wouldn't go much smaller than a 20 because it might be a little too flimsy for your ring, but you can see what works best for you. Now you can gauge the amount of wire you want to cut according to what finger you want to wear it on, if you want it to overlap, if you don't mind it open in the back, and those kind of things. So it's basically whatever works for you. I find between 4 to 6 inches is just about right. And because it's adjustable, you have a lot more wiggle room. So just go to the center of your wire and then just do, like, try and be as even as you can. But if you're not, that's okay, because you can go back and make the loop again, or on the other hand, you can just trim the wire so that it's even on both sides. So you're just going to start out with just something like that looks like that. And you can make it rounder, or you can make it, it's really your choice. And then just take your pliers again, and you're just going to wrap the wire around and just do another type of loop like that. Alright, and then the other side, the exact same thing. And just kind of try and make them sort of similar. So, but again, you're going to adjust this anyways when you do hammering and so forth. So you come up with something that looks like that. And at this point, you're just going to take your fingers and hold that taut, because you want to keep those coils together, and just put the edge out like that, and then the other side. This is the part that goes around your finger, and this will be the part that will go on your knuckle or toe, or wherever you, even if you want to put it down and look further in your finger, you could too. What I like to do here is just to make sure that this is nice, it's nice and stiff, and it's going to stay where it's supposed to. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I like it because it keeps it in place. It makes your ring a lot more stable. Is just flatten it with the hammer and then texturize if you want, or you can just leave it flat, whatever you like. So I'm just going to hammer this. Alright, so now that that's hammered, if it came out of place or anything like that, you can always just go back in with your pliers and just kind of push it in a little bit and just adjust it the way you like it. It's going to be a lot stiffer at this point, but that's alright. You still have some room to work with it. And now I have about 3 inches of a 26 gauge wire. You can go up to about a 24 if you prefer. It's whatever fits through your bead. When you're making your loops, just make sure you have a little bit of space between them, so that will give that little, it's almost like a little nest for your bead to be in. So now just bring your bead in so that it's sort of, it's fitting right in that little divot there. You're just going to take one side of your wire, I'm just going to use my pliers because it's just easier, and just put it right in that loop on the side like that. Just do it once. Alright, and then just the other side, you can do the exact same thing on the opposite loop. Now don't pull it up too high, because you want to make sure that that stone is staying right in the center, right in that little archway. So So now just take one side and start to work on it, and just start to wrap in around that loop. And you don't have to do many wraps, it's just to keep it in place. I do about 3 or 4. And then that would be one side done. And just make sure that your bead stays where you want it to stay, because once it's wrapped in, it should be centered. And then just tuck that little piece right. I'm going to tuck it right in those other coils so that nothing is going to poke anybody. So the sharp bit goes right inside that little wrap of wires. And so if you put your finger against it, nothing's going to poke anybody. Alright, so again, make sure your gemstone is adjusted, and then just start to wrap the other side. Around. Just make sure it's centered. So just wrap one loop and then make sure it's centered. And if it's not, then you should just readjust it and then continue on. You can use your fingernails just to push it up a little bit. So continue to wrap the same amount of wraps on this side as you did on the other. So when they look about the same, and all you need to do is do exactly the same thing. You're just going to trim it back. And tuck that wire right into the other coils. After you have your wires all wrapped up, you just want to just run your finger along it to make sure there's nothing poking or anything, and it should be good. Now you can decide which side you want to use for your front, whichever looks better, because one side might look nicer than the other. So I think this side looks better. So now just go to the ends and you can just curl them up or down. It doesn't matter. Your choice, whatever you prefer. So I'm just curling mine up like that. And all that's going to do is make sure that wire that's been cut, it will not poke anybody because it can be sharp. So this is what you would have. And then after that, all you need to do is take a dowel or ring mandrel, whatever you like. I'm going to make it a size 5 because I'm going to have it as a knuckle ring. Now the thing about it is if you find that these are too long and you want to have them shorter, at this point you can cut them and just do a curl on the end. But just keep in mind when you do cut it that you just want to keep a little extra so you can make that curl. So then just wrap it around your dowel or your ring mandrel. Now I'm going to just overwrap mine like that in the back. Just decided since that these are overlapping, I just turned one loop down and just turned one up so it looks a little bit more finished. So it looks like that, and if you want to wire harden it or something you could, but since it's an adjustable ring I would probably not bother. And then you would just, it would be ready to go, and you would just wear your ring like a knuckle ring like that. So this concludes the tutorial. I hope you liked it. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, and comment, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for coming. Bye for now.